taking nothing for granted with the backup quarterback in Dallas. Mike Petraglia outside the Kettering Health practice fields here in downtown Cincinnati, right across the street from Paycor Stadium. Bengals putting in their second full day of practice, getting ready for Cooper Rush, not Dak Prescott, and the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday at AT&T Stadium in week number 2. Of course, the Bengals losing 23-20 in overtime on Sunday to the Steelers. Now, this week poses an interesting challenge for Lou Anarumo and the Bengals defense. The defensive coordinator telling us here on Thursday afternoon, they are treating Cooper Rush just like Dak Prescott in terms of having the full complement of plays and situations in the Dallas offense available to him. They are not looking at him as a backup quarterback, but rather a starting quarterback who, again, has everything at his disposal when he trots out on the field and runs the Cowboys offense. Of course, behind him will be Zeke Elliott, and that won't be that big of a deal, but this offense is very banged up. They have banged up wide receivers, banged up tight ends, and of course, their offensive line is going through tremendous transition. La'el Collins is here in Cincinnati, of course, with the Bengals after signing his 3-year contract with Cincinnati in the offseason. Right before the season began, Tyron Smith was injured, and he is essentially lost for the year. So the Cowboys are going through a huge upheaval in their offense. This should give the Bengals an opportunity to take advantage of the Cowboy offense. But again, Lou Anarumo says, we learned the lesson last year from the New York Jets game. Mike White came in and did what he did. Again, in that game, Lou Anarumo said, we didn't take Mike White for granted. It was just their day. They're trying to make sure that this week Cooper Rush doesn't have his day to shine. Anarumo talking about the game last year against the Minnesota Vikings. Cowboys won the game by a score of 20-16, beating Mike Zimmer's defense in that game. And Lou Anarumo making the point here on Thursday. He was very efficient with Cooper Rush, and he expects the same type of performance this Sunday against Cincinnati's defense. The defense is, again, not taking anything for granted. Offensive side of the ball, everybody's going to be talking about La'el Collins and the former Cowboy offensive tackle who will be coming back to Dallas for the first time since signing the deal. And La'el Collins will have one big challenge like he did last week against TJ Watt and the Pittsburgh defense. It'll be Micah Parsons. He is the reigning Defensive Rookie of the Year in the National Football League. He has 15 sacks through his first 17 NFL games. That is tied for second best through 17 games in NFL history. Micah Parsons is a game wrecker, and they have to make sure that Parsons doesn't do to the Bengals what TJ Watt and also to a very strong degree Alex Highsmith did to the Bengal offensive line in their offensive performance last Sunday against the Steelers. They're trying to avoid that. This time, I think, looking at the the Cowboys defense, they don't have the number of weapons in the front seven, so I think the Bengals will have the opportunity to perhaps pay more attention to Micah Parsons, perhaps even double team him or chip him a little bit more aggressively than they were able to with Watt and Highsmith last week. Also, La'el Collins telling us here on Thursday afternoon, he has nothing but love and respect for Jerry Jones, saying he gave me a chance. Of course, Collins was an undrafted rookie in 2015 when he caught on with the Dallas Cowboys. So he thanks Jerry Jones, his son Steve Jones, and the rest of the organization for giving him his chance out of LSU to make it in the National Football League some 7 years ago. So if you're expecting any bitterness, there won't be bitterness, but there is the chip on the shoulder. And La'el Collins says it really doesn't matter which team he'd be coming from. The fact that he was undrafted and had to make his way into the National Football League gives him that chip on the shoulder that will always be with him. In terms of news here on Thursday, T. Higgins was not with the team, but it was not because of his concussion protocol and the concussion he sustained on Sunday against Pittsburgh. It was due to personal reasons. Of course, T. Higgins' father passed away right before the season began, so he had to tend to funeral arrangements for his father. here on Thursday. So he was not with the team. We don't know if he'll be with the team for practice on Friday. If he is, it is probable, and this is guesswork, that T. Higgins will be available to the Bengals on Sunday. He did indicate to a couple of reporters here on Wednesday that he's good to go. He should be ready to go should he make practice on Friday and be available to play on Sunday in Dallas. For complete coverage of your Cincinnati Bengals, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Trags, Trags. All of our coverage on clnsmedia.com, and be sure to click on that link below to the Jungle Roar podcast YouTube page. We want to hear all of your comments, good, bad, and indifferent. Outside the Kettering Health practice fields here in Cincinnati, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.